world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad.
Welcome back to the IP Squad and our ongoing investigation into films based on Sherlock Holmes. I'm John Campbell. With me, of course, the Jones boys. It's Brendan Jones.
Hello.
And Robin Jones.
Hey, John. John, wait. Let me just take a second. Guys,
Yes.
Brendan, I know you hate it when I interrupt to talk about other projects that are not what we're doing. But, Brendan, you'll be happy to know this is actually part of another project that I've pitched John that I want to thank him for right now.
Yes.
This being a backdoor spinoff to a new Patreon exclusive series of podcasts, Tote Bags, the work of the guy who played Tote in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I cannot wait to get that one started.
Tote
because
Bags.
Tote Bags.
You're talking about the great Ronald Lacey.
Yeah, that guy's great.
He's always great.
That guy, if you need someone to interrupt his own sentences, he's your guy.
Yeah.
He took the one class at RADA.
And it worked.
Doing that.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to make that my whole career.
Actually, I mean, not that I necessarily want to listen to a whole podcast about it, but I do have a respect for these guys who were just a type. They were called upon to basically play variations on the same kind of character and stuff.
The British Elisha Cook Jr.
Very much so. Very much so, yeah. But yes, every time I see him, I do. Even though he's in a billion things, it is like, there's Tote.
Hey, it's Tote.
There's Tote.
Well, he had one iconic role. That's the thing is he of course worked a lot.
Well, I mean,
but he had one role that the entire world
a fairly
knows him
well-known
for.
movie, I would say, fairly well-known.
Pretty good.
And he
I've
really
got his action figure.
Yeah. He also the thing that I mean, I remember being a kid seeing that movie, and like even though he's not the main bad guy, he's the one you really remember. He visually just stands out. He gets the burn thing in his hand.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's got you really remember him melting, his face melting the most.
Yes.
It's,
I'll tell you, it took me a while to figure out who Paul Freeman was as Belloc, but I will never forget Tote.
No.
Nope.
1,000%. Like, literally, we're watching, and I just go, Jesus God, it's Tote.
Although I will say, on that point, I was thrilled to see Paul Freeman pop up in Thursday Murder Club.
Yeah,
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh, Brendan.
It's good.
Pretty good.
I am working.
That one's been out a little while though. You've had some time on
all
that.
things.
You've had some time on that.
Our mother worries about you, young Jones.
He works too much.
Yeah, let's put this on the pod.
But let's
move on.
I like that. Yeah, people are like, oh boy, they're gonna talk about this, and then it's just a bunch of Ronald Lacey talk right up front.
15 minutes of Ron Lacey talk.
Because
Ron Lacey, it's the episode is The Sign of the Four, the one of the big old Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes movies.
1987. The year I'm graduating from high school.
Yeah.
This a TV movie.
Yep.
Now, we're gonna talk about what works for us, what doesn't, and overall opinions. But I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
Hot take, John.
This is almost perfect. And here's why it's not quite.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna list off reasons.
All right, I have a couple that I would probably,
beautifully produced, but TV shot.
Yeah. That's very much my same
the lighting and everything is just so. I mean, yes, we watched a 4K upgrade, but at the same time,
like a lot of BBC stuff of this era, handsome, but yes, you always do feel TV.
Yeah, because look, good costuming TV. and their locations and stuff, it looks great.
Yeah.
And they go out, they're on the, the river and so they get all that stuff. But I'm sitting there going like, wow, this doesn't feel too Victorian, even though it is, because it looks like TV.
Well, it feels like the Victorian of, once again, every BBC miniseries I ever saw.
Right, and Brennan, I was hoping you liked it when they got out to that Doctor Who quarry and saw the...
Yeah, I'm always happy.
It's like when they got to Vasquez Rocks in Star Trek. It's the same thing, right?
We're in India.
Yep. Of course you are.
Are you?
This is the same place that's been India and everything you've made.
But I also think, here's an example, because I never really pay attention to score, but score is important. Another thing that makes this very TV is that when there is music or a score, it's pretty down, and it may just be kind of like da-na-na, da-na-na. And I'm like, this could have used some like beautiful music all the way through.
That was where money and time were just not there for it. The score was afterthought.
But I gotta say, as adaptations go,
you have Jeremy Brett scaling a wall at a
my God! All I can say is casting and adaptation. Oh, this hits. This hits. As it's been a while since I've watched any of the Bretts.
Yeah.
But because now I think I'll be going back and checking some more out.
Speaking of our beloved mother, who swears by these Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmeses. I think it has been since I was staying with Mom in between places I was living at, since I've seen any of them. And I think from an older perspective,
you are older.
This guy kicks ass. He does. Fucking great. And my wife was like, what has he been in again? I go, well, he's been in a bajillion things. He sings on the street where you live in My Fair Lady. I mean, he had a 3-decade plus career.
He's an interesting guy in that way, in that he did a ton of stuff and was known, but was never like a star. But just long career. I mean, it spent the last probably third of it doing Holmes. I mean, he played Holmes for. I mean, I think he do basically every Doyle Holmes. I mean, basically.
There are a few stories they didn't get to, but you'd be amazed.
Much.
I mean, it's probably like 90 or 85%.
I mean,
they did the
like,
ouvre.
It's like
pretty
him,
much all there.
and then
he was the Suchet.
I was gonna say David. It's like David Suchet with Poirot. But it's interesting that that it's like Jeremy Brett. People are like, but you look at, he's done a lot of, like you said, My Fair Lady. My God, iconic. I mean, he did die at 61, which is too young.
Yeah,
which
he also
is a shame.
was a bit of a hard liver.
Oh,
not as in his liver.
But
he
maybe some of his liver though.
He loved to party.
Well, like a lot of those guys, right? Like a lot of those.
And he
British...
was also struggling with being gay and at the time.
Bipolar as well. He was dealing with because they talk about.
But there ain't no party like a Jeremy Brett party, because a Jeremy Brett party don't stop.
And even when it absolutely should have.
1,000.
I mean, I will say this: that's a part of Holmes, and not that he's alone in that. I'm sure plenty of the actors who played Holmes have their issues and so forth, but you can sense that he's internalized. He's using a lot of that as Holmes, and he's a prickly bastard. He is not the chummy Holmes we've seen in some stuff,
right?
But he's
definitely not the Roger Moore Holmes.
No.
Oh,
and he's very on point with
that guy was the chummiest of Holmes. Yes.
Yeah.
This movie starts just like the books, with him being extremely brusque and really not in one of his depressive moods, but just sort of like, oh, what's the point of anything? And by the midpoint, yes, with him clambering over walls and hunting with Toby, you see him come alive. Jeremy Brett's hitting all the points of Holmes where it's like, thank God I've got this mystery to solve, and you're like, there you go. I mean, I know it's stilted. I know this is a little dry, and I know that's going to be John's take, and it is, I admit. But at the same time, it's the closest you're going to get, and I'm kind of just looking at that guy going, every twitch of his eye, everything he's doing is perfect for the character. It's
at one point they've got him with like really close up to the camera, and they've got like Watson and Jenny Seagrove talking, and she says something along the lines of, well, I would be very happy if Dr. Watson also accompanied me, and you see his mouth just smirk real fast and go back into
he's able to do those.
1,000% perfect.
Plus everybody, you know that Mary becomes Watson's wife, right?
Well,
you guys know that she's important.
This is an interesting. This is an interesting case of this, right? Because this
this version, a nice older gentleman gets a very attractive young wife.
Well, they don't. But they don't marry in this like they do in the book, right? There's. I mean, it ends with him going, "What an attractive woman," you know, and there's this connection. But I think it's interesting because this comes so much later in. They've already done the series at this point. So it's interesting that was something that they obviously felt. They're like, well, we're not going to suddenly jam in that Watson gets married at the end of this like he does in this. And it is a little weird that he's quite a bit older than her here.
I think that they would have had Watson, and of course Watson did switch. This is the second Watson.
Right, yes. Brett went through a couple Watsons.
And
this guy burned through a few Watsons.
Party with John, he made those poor men party with him.
I can't do one more season with Jeremy. I'm telling you, I can't do one more.
I liked the previous Watson slightly better, even though this guy's great.
I think this guy's totally
solid. He did seem closer in age and not, that kind of thing, and perhaps more athletic. Because
I mean, the thing about this that we got to say, if you and I think he walks a good line between, he is older, but he's not Nigel, like you're saying, he's not Nigel Bruce. But he's kind of the Watson people know from pop culture. He's kind of the Watson of the books. The thing about this, though, we should say, for those who don't know, of course, this is coming after what? I mean, how many seasons had he done, Brett, of him on TV? We're catching this in an interesting...
Probably 10 years.
We're catching...
Brendan, I don't know if you remember this, but Mystery showed a adaptation of Rebecca, I think, previous to the Sherlock Holmeses. And that Rebecca adaptation, Jeremy Brett played Maxim de Winter, and he kicks ass in that too. So it feels like, I may be wrong about this, but it feels like the timing of it would be, he was so good as this moody, brooding dude. He probably will be a pretty good Sherlock Holmes. Like it felt like.
You think that led into it?
Well, there's about 5 years between, so maybe, I don't know, but like 79 was that Rebecca, and then 84 is when he first plays Holmes, and they did the series. So basically, they did a series, then they did some movies, then they did another series. Is kind of how the Brett series. So we're catching him in the middle of the two
books as well. It's like the return of Sherlock Holmes, the memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. It's sort of like, here's the next batch.
I'm sorry. I should say there are actually 4 separates, because he did the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes from 84 to 85. Then he does this movie in 87. Then he does Return of Sherlock Holmes from 86 to 88 as a series. Then 88, he does the movie of How to the Baskervilles. Then he's back for the case book of Sherlock Holmes in 91 to 93. Then he does Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes in 94. So, I mean, man, this guy spent a lot of... I mean, maybe just in terms of flight time, the most amount of time spent as Sherlock Holmes.
Quite possibly.
I mean, Rathbone did a lot in a very short period of time. But Brett, that's a good, six, 7 years of doing.
Well, again, it's
every exhaustive story
comparable to Suchet, although Suchet's was over decades.
Well, that's one of the really fun things about the Suchet Poirot is you really do watch Poirot age in real time, and when you get to the last one, it's quite affecting that you've seen this guy play this for so long. But I do think of them as similar in the way people talk about Brett as Sherlock Holmes, and there are so many people I ran into where it's just like, nope, hands down, forget everybody else, it's Jeremy Brett. And I will say, I get that. I get it. If you're talking about, and I totally get, Brendan, why you like it as much as you do, because yes, it is very much the books. If you want the books, here it is. These are them. These are...
Well, the books is Sherlock Holmes. I mean, everything else is, here's a take on.
Yeah, and I like the takes on.
It feels like there's a big butt coming.
I just have, every time, I will say, watching this, when you talk about wanting to go back to these, every time I watch it, Brad, I go, I can't do any more of these. I find him and the production so dry, so not exciting. Okay. Even the beats of action in this, I'm like, God damn, there's a boat chase in this that is the slowest boat chase I've seen committed to film.
Like I kept saying, this is the fastest launch that the
here's the sad thing of when you're being that faithful, is that those are vintage boats of the period. That is the speed they would go at. And in the book, which I did recently reread, I mean, they do describe it's like, wow, that is the extremely fast launch, and we're doing our best. So in other words, that is the speed they would have been going at, which for 1890 whatever is like, wow, this is we can't catch up.
This is my interesting point of this. None of this
you watch it and you go, wow, those are really slow boats.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing of none of this is a criticism per se. I don't think these are bad or that any. It's just I'm like I don't particularly want to engage. And also this is a case where they are so faithful that I would actually rather read the book, honestly. Like, by the end of this thing, when you have 20 minutes of a guy telling you his story about the prison camp, I'm going, this works on the page. But I am now watching a movie where the main character is listening to a man tell a story.
Right.
And I just am kind of like...
I will say the movie throughout brings in flourishes to try to keep it like...
It does. They are still trying.
Like when when Mary tells her story, at the same time, you're seeing Brett get up, as he's listeing, he's going, God, this place is a mess.
Yes, I think that part's better than the end part.
Things he, obviously it's a telling about the character. Holmes wouldn't notice ordinarily, but he's finally kind of locked in that he's got a guest in his flat while he's listening to the story, so he himself is brushing off ash off his, clothes and stuff. John, to your point, no, in my 30s or late 20s, I found them hard to sit through, and now when I'm watching it, I'm seeing the limits of trying to make this stuff have that kind of what I talked about with like the 7% solution or the Great Train Robbery of that kind of that kind of pacing, which is what they really need. And so instead, I'm watching like Brett's flourishes.
Oh, and, I think,
the way
Brett's performance,
throws away the line in the beginning about Watson's writing, and the way he uses his hands to impatiently gesture.
No, Brett's all in, especially
that
having
stuff to me made it watchable as much as the plot itself.
The sad thing is my issues have more to do with the production of it than that. And unfortunately, Brett gets pulled into that in my mind then, and it's kept me from ever like really adoring what he does. He's totally in on this, and especially he's already done, 13 episodes or whatever of the show.
Yeah,
he's
he's
locked in.
It does feel TV again. That
some of that too, not just the faithfulness, but some of it is just the limitations of
the editing. I mean, again, for one thing, we were talking about that boat chase at the end, which it's in the novel, but even knowing all the beats of what's about to happen, I was sitting there going, you could have really trimmed this.
Well, yeah, that's
there's a lot
of
it where I'm going, and the fact that we do see Holmes completely, scurry down from the roof of that building, the entire thing, and I'm like, hey guys, you could pick up the pace on a lot of this stuff. There's no reason.
You see, like, the director is trying to make it active. Like it's not the direction, it's the editing.
It is.
So
because this thing clocks in at like
scurrying down. He has he's framed shots of like the irregulars coming in like the swarm, and he has this beautiful thing after Brett scurries down. He's talking to Watson, and I think it's the inspector, the goofball, but they're in silhouette.
Yeah,
their silhouette, their shadows are against the wall, and that's what he's framing it. That's what's in the frame, and I kept thinking, this guy's really trying hard to goose this as much as he can. Because I think he knows that if he doesn't do something, it's just going to lay there as flat as a page.
Well, I do think it's a thing where this thing's about an hour 45, and I'm like, if this was an hour 30, if you could probably take 15 minutes, and really, it would. I don't think much would be lost. Like, there is sort of an exhaustive. It's not even about being faithful; it's about being exhaustive. They have put everything.
I also think that there's some. There are some parts where they are, well, we're going to give you the full book in 2 hours or close to 2 hours. And you're like, well, I'm not opposed to you jumping over bits, or at least having a nice summation. It's amazing that it actually starts with that murder. And I know they're sitting there going like, oh, we got to include this, and that's not how the book starts. But they're like, oh, that'll be something.
Yeah,
exciting,
actually,
right?
I will say it does
at the very beginning.
It does hit right up front with that thing. You're like, whoa, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And then I
think it's fine for again, BBC.
Yeah. I think, like I said, what I've always said about these is like, I'm glad they exist in that like these are documents of the filmed novels, and then that means other people can kind of like go off in crazier directions, because it's like, well, there is, when you talk about Brendan, we always talk about over on Meet the Monsters, the definitive. These are in many ways the definitive. Unfortunately, they're not the definitive cinematically. They're not the most cinematic. Right. They are the definitive adaptations, in that actors are portraying these books very faithfully. Right. It would be, and some of that is just with the era, right? I mean, you look at, if you were to make a faithful Sign of Four today, even if you were to do it incredibly faithfully, just the technology at your disposal and the rhythms of TV now, it would just move differently. It just would, if you still did it incredibly faithful. It's just at this time, this is what a lot of especially British TV. We saw this a lot because we did the BBC adaptations of, I mean, how many BBC adaptations of Dracula and Frankenstein have we seen over on Meet the Monsters? Very similar looks, rhythms. The Louis Jourdan, the Louis Jourdan Dracula has a very similar look and vibe to this. He's a weirder choice. I mean, Brett is obviously a better fit for Holmes than Jourdan was for Dracula, who's a little too very casual Dracula, if you want to go back to that.
Brett would have been a great Dracula, too.
I agree.
That's the thing is, very often when I see a great Sherlock Holmes, because of their similarities, especially looks-wise, I sit there going like, oh, man, we missed out. He could have been a great Dracula.
Yeah. I'm curious about, he did a Mort d'Arthur for BBC. Jeremy Brett King Arthur, I think, is kind of interesting. We didn't cover that on our King Arthur season, but...
Well, I gotta say, having read Le Mort d'Arthur, I hope they, trimmed around that because
well, that's a
the
good
book is kind of like, oh, come on.
I mean, look, those who listened to the previous season of this show that was about King Arthur, there's a lot of dry movies in there too. Ooh, boy, that was a dusty old season of this show.
Again, with this, I keep thinking about how much Doyle wrote, but tried to, tread the line between intellectual puzzle,
yes,
like you would see with maybe John Dixon Carr or other authors of mysteries. I keep thinking about the old man in the corner who ties the string as somebody explains to him, the mystery and that kind of thing. And he treads that line between that and Boy's Own Adventure.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's and this definitely leans.
With this, you keep thinking, oh, they could have made it pop a little bit more because, like, for instance, we keep talking about the boat launch chase.
Well, we keep bringing it up because it's the big set piece, and it is shockingly long. Like, it was one of those things where I'm like, this is still going.
And they could have done a thing with atmosphere where, if they're using that mist, then maybe there's a few beats of them like not being able to see anything at all. Like they could have done more.
And again, that's more production thing where this is very handsome for their budget. I agree. It's like you could have wow, let's get out those smoke machines.
Yeah,
but they may not have.
That's why I'm like that's why I'm saying like it's that's why I'm hesitant to say any of this is a massive criticism on my part for this, because I also recognize that just wasn't the name of the game. They were going for lush and handsome. They were not going for exhilarating. And the audience they were pitching to is your mother, right? I mean, like, they knew it was sort of like, this is a classy affair.
Get our mother out of your mouth.
Keep my mom's name out your fucking mouth.
That's not cool.
Robin's gonna go Will Smith on us here in a second.
If she were in front of you right now, you would rue the day, buddy.
Let me say it's also pitched towards my mother then. Who's an English teacher, right? Like, there is sort of this almost. I don't know that they were thinking that, but some of it is budget, but some of it also is sort of like, look, this is a classy affair, all right? We're not here to get into the sordid details of it.
The reason that WGBH was able to do mystery was because of the success of Masterpiece Theater.
Yeah.
And the success of Masterpiece Theater was built on upstairs, downstairs.
Right.
This is very much an upstairs, downstairs kind of take on Holmes.
It's a BBC take.
Yeah, I mean, like we're saying, it's
all their
the
stuff
Dracula,
like.
the Frankenstein, and then the Henry James and the Jane Austen stuff. I mean, all of that. You could show me imagery, clips from them, and unless somebody's in a distinctive costume, they would all look the same, basically, to me. It is like we talk about, even recognizing locations.
In film, it would be called the Merchant Ivory.
For sure. Yeah, there's
Except for Merchant Ivory, they had film budgets, so
they looked a little nicer, but
stilted, but even better shot.
It was just
I was looking at
more
the
hands
view last night again, and just going, God bless, this thing is the most beautiful thing I've ever looked at in my life.
Yeah, but pretty dry.
But again, John, like I said before about watching, you fill it in.
Yeah, I think
by watching the performances. And
sure.
So Room with a View, it moves like a freaking lead balloon, but you're watching the young Daniel Day-Lewis and Helena Bonham Carter and,
of course,
and Maggie Smith and all these.
No, I mean we were talking about this just before we got on here. We mentioned Ron Lacey on here, but just in general, this thing is filled with a lot of real. I mean, one
Killers.
of the that is a thing. We all have a love of British mystery shows, and there's a reason that I think. There is I think a lot of it is to do with the acting. There are many great American actors, but I've always been drawn to the British actors. I think just because there's such a rigid training ground over there that it's sort of like,
you know what, there's that, but I will posit that there is something intrinsically built into our ears where British voices, and that could be from every part of the realm,
right?
To us, I know it sounds weird, but it's still exotic.
Yeah.
So strangely, I think just their existence as being British, and even though you're watching a cop drama that if you had transposed the script to America, that you'd go, that was okay. But then you watch the British version and you're like going, oh man.
Yeah.
It's just because it feels slightly like another world. And so therefore we're in love with hearing them be them. I mean, because I was watching, I watched the first episode of the new Karen Pyrie season that's out.
Karen Pyrie's great.
BritBox.
Yeah. I mean, BritBox is basically a streaming service of, hey, you Yanks are interested in this stuff, right? You know,
that's exactly it.
Yeah. Watch more. And
and it's like,
yeah,
and the mystery is fine, it's good, but I'm just listening to a diminutive Scottish lady solve a mystery, and I'm like, God, listen to that voice, it's just so cool.
it is. It's a great accent.
Has a lot of the charm.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there is something to it, but there's also, so the point I was making is like, even these little roles, when you see these little character actors who aren't known people, but they come in and you're just like, God, that guy's great. Oh, that guy's great. You know, like, it just feels like, I mean, once again, there are plenty of American things that I also feel that about.
The dude who played Inspector Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they wonderful. Let him, like, fucking run the table the first time you see him in the episode.
Yeah,
and you just keep looking at Brett, and Brett's just like, classic Inspector Jones.
That's some of the best stuff in here.
That's the book too. He humors him so much, and he's like, "Oh yes, great. Excellent."
And that's where this thing. That's the moment. All those scenes really pop. Because there's some real energy in those.
Newspaper account about Inspector Jones, and they're just losing their shit because it's so bullshit.
That was also fun to see. I love any of those moments. We've talked about those in some of the other ones. I love it's what I love about the beginning of was it Murder by Decree, where they're at the opera.
Yeah, same thing where they're making fun of.
Yeah, I know. I love the moments where you see their friendship, that these are best buds, and they're ragging on somebody, and you're like,
and what's great about the fact that we, are doing this full, complete story, because within the story there are all these shades of Holmes, so he's not constantly brusque, and I can't be bothered with this.
Right.
Once it kicks in, there's a delight, and I love that they're trying to give it to you. The actors do. The film doesn't. That's kind of the problem.
Yes, the acting is there, and the writing is, they're doing Doyle. It's just that it's once again just definitive.
And they both
exhaustive.
Look really good in top hats.
Yes. I mean, yes, that's required.
That was always the thing with the Brett Holmes series, is that how they get him in that top hat.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, this is much cooler than the Deerstalker.
Because
they put him in the Deerstalker for, Hound of the Baskervilles. And whenever he's out in the country, that makes sense.
I did really like, and once again, it's true to this, but we haven't seen much of the Irregulars in the things we've been watching.
Yeah.
So I did love seeing them, and I did love the moment when they all come to Baker Street, and he's like, you can just be their representative. You don't have to bring all of them in here. That's great. That's once again, there are moments of fun in this that are nice when it has some
Sherlock
energy.
Holmes, Master of Disguise, which is one of my favorites.
That's another fun. Once again, there are moments in this where you're like, yeah, man, if you had just, don't change those, just maybe cut down on some of the other stuff.
I keep thinking about the Lone Ranger, and I just go, I think for this one I shall be the old sea captain.
But here I will say again, that's a great disguise, and he's doing really awesome.
First. That's how good it was. The bits where they show him like talking to the other sea hands around the harbor and stuff. Yeah. And I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And then when he comes to the flat, I go, Jesus fucking Christ, that's Sherlock Holmes. Oh
it's
no!
so good.
And the joy that Holmes takes in like, for it is I, like,
For it is I.
yeah, it's a great moment of like, right. I do like. You mentioned the Roger Moore. Nobody played it more because it's the same way he played Bond too. I do like moments where you see like, oh, Holmes loves being Holmes. He loves what he does.
Yeah.
He loves this vibe. Even if he's melancholy some of the time, when he's in it, the guy's having a blast. He really enjoys.
They bring in a different looking Toby, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was going, well, Robin, all dogs have this sniffing ability. It doesn't have to be a bloodhound necessarily. It could be a German Shepherd.
But we had just watched the definitive Toby.
I mean, that is
a great mouse detective.
It is a great Toby. I also love another fun scene in this. When Watson goes to get Toby.
To Brendan's point, I kind of miss the ability of the great mouse detective Toby to turn his ear into a staircase.
This one didn't do that.
And look, is it even Toby if he doesn't do that? Really? Like at the end of the day, is it even Toby?
I turned the TV off.
I said, "Fuck this shit! Not my Toby."
I shoot it.
Yeah, Elvis style, man. That's what I don't like. That ain't no Toby. That ain't my Toby. But
that ain't my Toby.
Little known fact: Elvis, big Holmesian. Yeah, I love when he solves those mysteries, man, with the dog and stuff. It's crazy.
That's why I've got this FBI badge, so I can solve crime.
Didn't they do an animated series where Elvis was solving mysteries?
Yes.
Yeah. I never saw it. I never saw it, but I do still remember that being on. It was something
like an Adult
literally like in
Swim
the past
type
5
thing.
years.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like it was called like Detective Elvis or something like that. Yeah.
Well,
it was like Tyson
he
Mystery.
was deputized. He could have done it.
Oh, yeah.
He could have. That's why I got this badge.
Hey man, I got a badge. I can solve crime. Let's do it. Ho, ho,
Let
ho.
me tell you something about this Moriarty.
Yeah.
He's caught in a trap, and he can't hold back.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying, can we get a Bruce?
There was also
Bruce Campbell Elvis
Aaron
detective.
Aaron Viva on Briscoe County Jr.
Yeah.
They had the character of Aaron Viva, who was like Old West, but he's completely doing an Elvis impression.
Well, I was gonna say, just get
part of that show. Jesus God.
One of the
really?
and he shows up like 5 times across that one season we get.
Oh my God.
That show.
I was too busy focusing on John Aston.
Well,
So
who's great?
But
great?
like every 5 minutes, he's doing another Elvis tie-in thing, which of course is anachronistic. But he's like, he does go like, "We're caught in a trap, Briscoe. Can't walk out." You're like, "Oh," and he eats a lot of food. And they're like, "Who's that for?" This is all for me, brother.
I know people were dying to know. The show was called Agent Elvis.
There we go.
And it was Matthew McConaughey was the voice of Elvis Presley.
Oh,
there
nice.
you go.
There you go.
All right. So, John, this sets up another backdoor pilot for you.
No, you get one per episode, buddy.
No.
You get one.
Your new IP squad, Elvis as pastiche.
Well, we did do Bubba Hotep on Meet the Monsters, which I adore. I love that movie so much.
And that's not pastiche. That's just Elvis.
That's just Elvis, baby.
Elvis.
That's what I'm saying. Give me a live action show with Bruce Campbell as Elvis solving mysteries. I'll watch every episode.
That would have been great.
Oh, I'd look.
That's why Bruce can't. They part of the reason they don't do any more Briscoe counties is because Bruce Campbell won't do it unless they let him play both Briscoe counties. And
that's how it's going to be. I just love the idea of people breaking down it, like beating down his door, going, "Come on, Bruce, you got to do more Briscoe County. We'll give you as much money as you want." No, not until I can also play the Elvis character.
Baby.
Yeah, no way.
No way.
All right. We did talk.
Okay, so we must say I made a few joking references to this, but the guy who plays Tote.
Ronald Lacey. Yeah, we didn't actually talk about his performance in this, and Ronald Lacey. If you enjoyed him as Tote, he takes it. He takes it pretty big in this.
He fucking runs the table for the first half of this thing.
He's pretty great in
it.
And
he literally passes the torch to the weirdo playing the inspector.
Yep.
Just one takes over from the other. It's like a relay race.
Yeah.
But I tell you, he leaves a lasting impression because he plays the twin brothers, and one of them he plays the corpse. That is not a wax model.
I know he was amazing.
The whole long scene of him just
in that frozen pose.
Yeah, you can't see us, but yeah.
My wife is like, when the inspector comes in and he's equally bizarre, she just goes, "Is this world that there's all these crazy people?" I decided, well, in Victorian England, you didn't have a lot. So the only way you could get your shit out was to be a complete British eccentric.
Yes.
Yeah. I was also, and I just loved the weirdness of doing an entire scene with the rictus corpse of Ronald Lacey sitting there.
I was just like, and they keep cutting to him.
Yeah.
And then they'll have him in like a 3-shot with Holmes and Watson. And I'm just like, and they move the body around and shit. And I just kept like, oh my God.
I thought that was great. Just because I like that, like, this is weird. Like, I like that they let it be weird for a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's the thing in this
flashback on that. You had the guy playing the twins, and they kept kind of cutting around and stuff.
Sign of the Four is one of those Holmes stories where there's the little element of the exoticism. It's not Yellow Peril, but he's going pulpy. Because it's like, you've got a cannibalistic, pygmy guy.
Yeah.
And he's got poison darts. You're like,
right.
Okay.
I do love that's a great
egg leg guy.
Just one of the actors from Time Bandits in blackface and latex.
Of course.
It's not. It's it's not great. I'll acknowledge. But I do love the beat. Talk about another great Brett beat when they talk about the cannibal culture and they mention the poison darts, and he's just like, oh, and you just watch on his face go like, well, that solves that. Like, okay, I've got that piece of it.
Right.
And it's great. It's great.
I for our longtime viewers and listeners, I will say, try to, if you can, watch this. We watched, I think all three of us, a beautifully amateur upgrade 4K version of this original televised,
which anyone can watch on YouTube, which is nice.
And it's really nice looking for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
very nice.
And it's I would say, of the ones we've watched, the only reason why I don't put it up there with like 7% Solution or Murder by Decree, which I both love so much, was because it's just the thing. If you don't want to have a match near it, you know what I mean? Because it's going to go up real fast.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Dry.
It's like there's a lot. Brett's performance aside, a lot of this I'm just going like, oh yeah, okay, it's respectable. Like it's okay, yeah. But I'm not I'm not going to throw this one on again.
In these eccentric dudes. There's eccentric characters.
I wasn't bored. I didn't hate watching it. Yeah. Like they and yes, every once in a while, one of these guys would come in and be like, oh, what's he doing? Or, oh, this is interesting, this dynamic.
John Thaw, that's that actor's name.
John Thaw.
Plays the big bad at the end.
Yeah.
He's on fire. The moment that he starts telling his story, I'm like, okay. I get why they hired, because I was wondering, like, this guy was doing, like, British cop shows, wasn't he? Wasn't he Inspector Morse or something?
He was Inspector Morse, and Brendan will be happy that I get to bring this up, because it's been a while. He was on the Sweeney, which I love. I love the Sweeney.
But was he ever on Z-Cars?
Oh, was he ever on Z-Cars? Is my other obsession. But yeah,
Judi Dench was on an episode of Z-Cars. Brendan, come on.
Yeah, everyone was. Everyone.
I'm sorry, do you mean Dame Judi Dench?
Everyone.
I mean, you disrespectful piece of crap.
Brendan, to answer, he was in. John Thaw was in 4 episodes of Z-Cars.
Okay. Sure. Everyone in England.
Well, Z-Cars, didn't we look it up? Z-Cars did like 800 episodes.
Years.
Yeah, there are 800 episodes of Z-Cars.
Right. I have a friend who keeps claiming that there's only 2 casting directors in all of England.
Well,
I think
so that's
it's probably
why you see
it's kind of true. It's an
the
interesting.
same 20 people in everything.
You still see that today. It's really interesting. As big as England is, and as many acting schools as they have, it does seem like it's kind of a small community, because you watch enough BBC stuff today, you see the same people. There's so many people I see and stuff. I'm like, what do I know this guy from? And I'm like, just any BBC show. I don't know him from one thing. I know him from 8 shows, you know?
He was the murderer in all 3 spin-offs of Death in Paradise.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like you see that a lot too, where you're like, oh, this guy was the murderer and a prime suspect, then he was a detective in Inspector Morse, and then he was, you just jump again and again and again. It's I mean, my God, what a gig it seems like to be over there and just leap around those shows.
Domhnall Gleeson was tired of playing the young idealistic dude and British stuff, so he's like, I do a decent Ron Howard. I'm going to audition for some American things.
I do a decent Ron Howard is a great description.
Yeah,
of
British
Donald
Ron Howard.
He is doing Ron Howard. Every episode.
It's
if you haven't seen it, anyway.
You should. I was a bigger fan than your brother, but I thought the paper was delightful.
Oh, really? Brennan, you didn't like it?
I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was it. But again, season 1 of anything, it's finding its footing. I just didn't find it as hilarious as even season 1.
No, it's just sweet. It's a sweet show.
It's sweet.
It's very. I found it very pleasant.
I watched it and I kept thinking, hey, this blonde journalist, boy, that looks like the future Mrs. Brendan.
Oh, good Lord. Man.
Big-eyed. She's very cute and very funny. I mean, I do think they've got a good cast.
Really good cast.
Anyway, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this podcast,
sure,
they've already turned it off by now.
Yeah.
I will say this: we need to. We do diverge, and people know way too much about the relationship of the Jones brothers.
If you've listened to this far into the show, you can't be that surprised that we're all over the place.
But I will say,
and I have not revealed all the secrets of the Jones brothers, by the way.
No, I know.
The murder,
neither have I.
The murder.
The murders.
I will say this that opinions are varying across all 3 of us. I will gladly revisit some Jeremy Brett, despite the dryness and the TV-ness of it, because I mean, I love Basil Rathbone.
Love him.
And I love his take on Holmes, and I've seen so many Holmeses that I enjoy, including our boy Benedict Cumberbatch. But I gotta say, Brett is he jumped off the freaking page. So that's my take. Highly recommended, whether it's this movie or any of the series. I recommend you guys who haven't watched any, watch some Jeremy Brett. And I think that Conan Doyle would love him. I mean,
we've alluded to a little bit, but you're going to have to put up with a lot of. It was a different time in terms of the.
Of course.
That's where my recommend comes in. Is like if
that's same with reading the books.
100%,
100%. They're doing a very true adaptation. I mean, we were talking about the exoticism and colonialism in this, and the first Holmes thing I ever read was The Adventure of the Speckled Band, and that is all. Yeah. Look at this weird stuff that Britons have brought back from foreign lands.
Yep.
Anyway,
yeah, I mean,
just kind of like you say, you got to put your head in a different place.
Sure, but if you get anxious, be like Ronald Lacey and toke on a hookah.
It makes me it makes me feel so good.
I don't not recommend this, but I do recommend it with the thing of like you should know what you're getting into. I love the Sean Connery James Bond movies. I've met many a person who can't stand them because, my God, they're slow. I don't find them slow. I find them to be rip-roaring fun.
Well, but John, I say to those people, fuck off, you dum-dums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Look, that's a real comfort food to me. Is a Connery Bond is a real. Mm-hmm. But I get it. They're older. They move differently.
Well, yeah. Also, I'm gonna play the old man card. Mm-hmm. I think generational divide is
of course,
thing,
of course.
And that attention spans and what people
you look
sort of embrace as far as filmic, entertainment, mm-hmm. It changes over time. And
sure.
As a kid, that was James Bond. And then you watch something like Daniel Craig and you're like, okay, that is amazing. And it moves so much faster that I can picture people of today or people in their 20s watching, Jeremy Brett or watching Sean Connery play these iconic characters and go, no, not mine. That's not my dude.
Even if you can, yeah.
I am bored to death.
And like I said, that's all fine. There is no, it's all opinion based, It's and I do think some of it is I didn't grow up with Jeremy Brett. Weirdly though, I grew up with older ones. I think actually Rathbone and Cushing I loved, but they are.
You did grow up down the street from Benedict Cumberbatch, didn't you?
Yeah, Benny and
you guys attended the same elementary school?
Benny and I go way back. No, and look, when we get to that, obviously, much like as much as I just talked about Connery, Craig is my favorite Bond, and Cumberbatch is my favorite Sherlock. But these are
whatever, little child man.
Look.
Get out in the world, John. Why don't you learn a thing or two?
Why don't you touch some grass?
But I don't like them at the expense of other people who, like it's just them being my favorite doesn't mean discount. One of the things
I'm with it.
In our ongoing discussions over on Meet the Monsters as well. I'm often the guy who's like, I love that there's just tons of different versions and they're all equally valid in my mind. I like takes on stuff, I think that I think it's fun.
I love
to see.
A take.
Yeah, and this is a take and it's valid. And I like I said, I don't, even if I don't click with this fully, the people who are like, hey, that's the definitive Holmes, I get why they think that. I get it.
Yeah, I mean that's why for me, the only true Holmes is Larry Hagman, because
Hagman just
gets hit in the head with his own motorcycle.
Nailed it, man.
He becomes
totally runs that
pretty
board.
much the definitive Holmes.
It's Hagman, and then everyone's running for second.
It's Hagman or nothing.
This obviously being a TV movie of 1987, as I've done before. Since we're not going to talk about box office, I want to talk about what the top TV shows of 1987 were.
I'll allow this.
I'm gonna say right off the bat, I'm guessing Miami Vice.
I was gonna say the same.
Let's see here. Hold on. That was just okay. Here we go. Top rated shows. Miami Vice. I think it's winding down at this point, so doesn't look like it's making the top. 30 that I have here. Let me just say the top-rated show.
Hill Street Blues is already gone, right?
Yeah, I will say the top
Moonlighting.
The top 5 shows are all sitcoms.
Oh,
they're
Cosby
all.
Show?
Cosby Show is number 1, and then what would be number 2?
Cheers.
No, think what spun off from Cosby Show, because it was Cosby Show. Then Different World is number 2. Then it's Cheers at 3. One of my all-time favorites, as anyone who's listened to me on anything knows, The Golden Girls at number 4. Love The Golden Girls, and then Growing Pains was 5th. People forget how big Growing Pains
hanging on.
Moonlighting was hanging in there in 12th. Murder She Wrote, still hugely popular at that point, was 9th. But and of course, who could forget Alf was in 10th place. America fell in love with that furry little alien.
I could easily as well.
Yeah,
I always refer to Alf as Max Wright's downfall.
I will say,
because that guy was great, and then he did Alf. And I'm sure it paid for his.
Have you read? I highly recommend the Wikipedia page about Alf for just the rage that guy had day to day, going, "I'm playing second lead to a fucking puppet."
Wow.
And when the show ended, there's a great story about when the show ended. He didn't say goodbye to anyone. He just cleaned out his dressing room, got in his car, and went home. He was done.
Wow.
He fucking hated every minute of working on that show.
Yeah. I mean, and you look at his work before that.
On
like these amazing things, like Simon, the movie Simon with Alan Arkin.
Sure, yeah.
He was a very brilliantly funny character guy.
Yeah. But unfortunately, due to my age, when I see him, I go, "Oh, it's the dad from Elf." It's Willie. Hey, Willie.
Dude, can you hear that high pitched whine? It's him doing Mach 5 in his grave. Right
Yeah.
The fucking puppet. All right. God. Oh, Alf. I used to. There's an impression nobody wants.
Watch some Jeremy Brett. What's next time?
Well, wait. We can't leave here without some highs and lows.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, I know this is a movie. I just thought because it was TV, there probably wouldn't be. But you're right.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Brennan, have you met the internet?
People have opinions.
I sat next to the internet on the bus, and it smelled so bad. I can't meet.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Here we go. This comes to us from Hitchcock. I can only assume it is the ghost of Alfred Hitchcock.
Sure. Yeah.
He says, "Good evening." No, he doesn't.
Was he one of the first 10 people to sign up for IMDb?
Yes.
That name was just there, and he took it.
Hitchcock, yeah. Here we go. I also have to. The title of this review. I'm like, did Brendan write this?
Uh-oh.
Shows how great stories can be told without tampering is the title of the review.
Oh, Jesus.
Of
Brennan.
all
I
the
think we found your
Granada
online alias.
Of all the Granada, and we should mention, of course, we've been saying BBC, but of course, this is
Granada.
Granada.
It's Granada television.
Yes, this is when you
but it
the
aired
box
on
sets
BBC.
Yeah, it was, but the box sets all say the Granada series, stuff like that. Anyway,
of
of all the Granada Sherlock Holmes presentations, I believe this to be the best. It has an intricate plot with an amazing story behind it. It's full of unforgettable characters. It has action. It has the Baker Street Irregulars. It has a dog named Toby. Mostly, it is full of life. Jeremy, it has a dog named Toby. It
has a boy named Charlie Brown. It has.
If the whole review was just, and then he smoked a pipe, and then he did this. Mostly, Jeremy Brett is never better than in his presentation. The British imperialists in India must have been an interesting lot. There's that whole thing with entitlement through domination and power. The four men who become embroiled in the plot are dedicated to each other, even unto death.
Yeah.
The two brothers whose father turns out to be the fly in the ointment are incredible, both physically and in terms of character. What is the revenge about? It's betrayal. But what is it based on? Where is the treasure? What is the treasure? Where did those strange footprints come from? It all unfolds with hardly a wasted moment in the almost 2-hour feature. There's also the romantic intentions of Watson, who marries the young woman later, if you read the books. This is the young woman he leaves behind constantly as he and Holmes run off on their adventures. If you have an opportunity, see this. 10 out of 10 stars.
Yeah.
I will say, for the low, this is a first. The lowest review I could find was 5 stars.
Wow.
5 out of 10. So this comes to us from Michael Larmer, and the review is titled, Great Story, Average Film. The Sign of Four is a great story, but not that long, so to turn it into a near 2-hour movie was always going to be problematic. They tried here, and it worked to an extent, but moved too slowly and was dreary. The film used dream/memory sequences to fill the time, but it only made it more boring. It would have been better if they started the film from when Jonathan Small was first approached by the Indians to steal the treasure in the first place, with ensuing events leading up to Major Sholto taking it to England, then go forward to Sherlock Holmes being recruited by Miss Marston. They could have used John Thaw more, longer scenes with him in it, and that would have improved it, but alas, they wasted the talent at the very end of the film.
No,
I agree. Taking longer to get to Holmes is not a great decision.
Not,
and then what's the puzzle? Like
when you know what the Sign of Four is.
Yeah. Also, guys, get ready for this next paragraph.
I'm ready.
I am not fond of Jeremy Brett as Sherlock Holmes. He is not quite right, too dreary and depressed and too thick in body. Holmes was supposed to be a thin, gaunt bloke. Once again, Brendan, did you write this? But at least he was the right height.
He is supposed to be. But...
Yeah. To be fair to Jeremy, he made this just after his wife had died, so you would not expect him to look happy. And he had bipolar disease, so they... I'm not sure they call it a disease because it's not, but whatever. So why they used him is beyond me. Despite that he is a better fit than many of the other actors that have played Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr., although a good actor, was an extremely unlikely Holmes. But there are several good actors who could have fitted the role perfectly who did not have personal problems. I know he did this TV series, but they were never the best Sherlock Holmes anyway. The plot was
wow.
Boy, here's the exact opposite of my.
Also, I'm a problem drinker.
The plot was missing a few bits as well. Miss Marston originally came to Holmes to find her father. She never did. She found out how and when he died, but not where he is buried. They never found the treasure where it was, just some hint from Jonathan Small that he dumped it in the river. They did not recover Tonga from the river. What happened to Jonathan Small's 3 Indian partners? Were they still in prison or had they died since? It was not mentioned either way, so quite a bit was missing, making the screenplay poor, thereby ruining the story. The actors were not great either. Apart from a depressed Jeremy Brett, the others seemed to be going through the motions. The best actor there, John Thaw, brightened it up at the end, but only got a short time on screen. Jenny Seagrove was flat. Edward Hardwicke was a good Watson, but did not do much with the role. Ronald Lacey, a good actor, had a double cameo, but slightly overplayed his eccentricity. Emrys James as Inspector Jones did all right, was a bit like a rabbit caught in the headlights. All the others only got brief glimpses. The best role was Toby the dog. The direction was poor, the music was dreary and dreadful, editing was awful, 19th century London scenes were passable, but they made goose, which included modern items in the picture. All in all, a poor effort. They should have made it another time with other actors and a director, and with more money for better facilities. Why quite a few people give this a high rating is beyond me. I gave it a 5 for the original story and a brief John Thaw, 5 out of 10 stars.
Okay,
Wow.
So the title of that review was Harumph.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus. Yeah. What about this? And what about that? And how about this, too?
Oh, my God.
This could have been good if it was made by completely different people with a different story and a different place.
Even me being the coolest of the three of us on this is like, Jesus, buddy, take it easy.
Okay, and John, I will say, and longtime viewers and listeners will know.
Yes.
John and I rib my brother about how he gets very picky.
Yes.
And I want to say, John,
yes,
I want you to print this review out and frame it.
Yeah.
Because as bad as my brother gets, it's never going to be like that.
No.
It's never going to be
that is correct.
Level.
I believe that Holmes had a slight scar on his right side that is nowhere near the,
I just listening to it. Well, then you just wanted John Thaw to be Holmes?
Why they hired this fatso Jeremy Brett to be the character?
I don't understand that critique. There's those scenes where literally he's standing on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, it's a boring thing. But
hero shot.
It's a hero shot.
Totally.
Hero shot. Totally. He has the height. He has the look.
Yeah.
He's
not overweight at
not
all.
even remotely. He's not rail thin like a Cushing, but to be fair, who is?
Nobody.
No one.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. Even Cumberbatch looks heavy compared to Cushing.
You mean
Micah?
old Tubbs? Old Tubbs Cumberbatch?
Tubbs
Cumberbatch?
Yeah, they like, you could play Doctor Strange, but you've got to lose the weight, buddy.
I'm sorry. I've been watching Bruce Robinson, Richard E. Grant movies. I watched with Neil and I.
A good choice.
Advertising.
Yeah.
And in both, Richard E. Grant talks about how Robinson would constantly berate him for having too much weight on.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Which
Richard E. Grant?
Richard E. Grant, yeah.
Yeah, and so he would call him Fatty Grant.
By the way,
and then they cut to Robinson and they go, "Well, what did Fatty tell you?"
By the way, how was he never played Holmes? Richard E. Grant.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! What do you want to do? Kill me? That guy's great.
I can't.
But
I mean,
he can do anything. He can do anything.
I can't believe he never did a TV thing or anything. No, it's crazy to me that he's never done.
John, you mentioned Thursday night, Thursday Murder Club, and when Richard E. Grant shows up, it's just like
comes in for one scene and destroys for one scene. He's amazing. All right. Next week on the show, though, things are gonna get a little wacky, fellas.
What?
Yeah. I think this is
we
one.
Don't like comedy. Brendan hates it.
Yeah. Brendan hates to laugh.
Laughter is for the weak.
This is one I think we all have a certain amount of affinity for because it's poking fun at Holmes in a very clever way, and that's a little film called Without a Clue.
I knew it was coming.
Boy.
I really enjoyed. I mean, number one, Michael Caine, Ben Kingsley. I mean, come on, folks. How do you not?
John Watson, crime doctor.
It's.
I'm greatly looking forward to it.
What a fun idea for a movie.
Yep.
Can't wait. And
I haven't watched it in a long time, but
I don't want to give anything away, but I may enjoy this. I'm just saying.
I do.
Okay.
I do like the tagline here for this one. Meet the world's greatest detective and his bumbling partner, Sherlock Holmes.
What?
Yeah.
That's not how it should be.
No. This is two just great actors cutting it up, and I love it.
All right.
Yeah. We get to talk about Paul Freeman in that. I forgot Paul Freeman plays Moriarty in that movie.
Yeah. And the return of the redoubtable Peter Cook.
Peter Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of great. And we'll have to be Jeffrey Jones.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Brendan, you gonna be okay? Uncle Jeffrey's now.
It hurts.
Uncle.
It does hurt because
I know.
what an amazing character actor.
John, we don't like to talk about this, but he is an uncle of ours, and there were times when we were growing up.
Oh no! Oh, good God, Robin!
No,
it's a story for off camera.
Yeah,
Robin's taking the joke farther than it ever.
Oh, as is usually the case. Well, there you go, folks. So join us next week for Without a Clue. But until then, the case file is closed.